One of the first questions we have here is, what can you do with a math major, and can you double major with math and something else?
Okay, so what can you do with a math major? Well, our graduates actually go into a lot of different areas of in industry, business, government, as well as academia. Dr. Hyman here is in fact a graduate of Rose-Hulman. Ended up getting her PhD in statistics before coming here. But we've had recent graduates work for Intel in the actuarial fields. They've gone to government agencies. A lot of them have gone into graduate school, both in mathematics, in statistics, as well as other applied areas. So what can you do? We're really not that limited in the job opportunities that are presented for our majors. A lot of different companies come in looking for mathematics majors to do a whole host of analytical operations within their company. And so in terms of second majors, absolutely, we are one of the most popular majors for students to do a double major with. The most common ones are math and computer science and math and physics, but we've had double majors with, I believe, every other engineering program within the last 5 years. So it's very doable, especially if your first major turns out to be an engineering field. It's actually sometimes easier to do it as an engineering first, mathematics second major.
What are some typical starting jobs, and with what type of companies do students with a math degree move on to?
Yeah, so I think that Dave hinted at this. The typical starting job really depends on what the student is interested in mathematics. For me, I went to Rose. I was a math major and I was interested in statistics. And I worked as a statistical analyst after I graduated before I went to grad school. I was actually at a startup company as well, which is maybe a little bit more atypical than going into like some of the bigger companies or governmental jobs that we'll maybe see a lot of our majors come from. I think our majors end up at all across the US. They're not concentrated specifically up in Chicago or just in Indiana when they leave, and they're really highly sought after.
Great. Tiana would like to know, what kinds of classes do undergraduate math majors take?
So if you're a mathematics major here at Rose, there are a core set of courses that you absolutely must take beyond the calculus and the differential equations courses that almost every student here takes. You need to take a course in linear algebra, a course in introduction to proofs, a course in probability, and a course in real analysis. At that point, you get to choose sort of which areas of mathematics you want to concentrate in. We have 4 distinct concentrations. One is more of a traditional mathematics concentration, the types of courses that you would take at just about any other school if you were to major in math. But then there's also a continuous applied mathematics concentration. If you want to think of it as calculus and differential equations based mathematics, things that you would study more intently in the science and engineering fields. There's a discrete mathematics or discrete applied mathematics concentration, which is more in computer science related areas, if you want to think of it outside of mathematics. And then there's finally the statistics and operations research concentration, which is a lot about how to model and make decisions based upon the information that comes out of those models and the different types that you can do with that. And then you have a few other elective mathematics courses that you could take. So in that sense, you could take a wide variety of different types of courses, all applying to your major. One of the benefits of such a large department, I said we have 26 faculty members within the department for a school of 2,000 students, and that's quite a lot, is you get a wide range of faculty expertise and interests. Here, Dr. Hyman there is talking, she's a statistician. My degree is in operations research with optimization, but we have people in biomathematics, combinatorics, analysis, computational science, data science, a lot of computer-based programming type mathematics, more theoretical aspects of it. And what people do is they offer a lot of different courses because of their expertise. Our course catalog rivals those of the big schools like IU or Purdue or Illinois in terms of the number of courses at the upper level we offer. And if you compare that to a small school our size, we dwarf we dwarf them in terms of our offerings. So basically, the short answer would be, though, if there's a topic you were interested in studying, chances are we either A, have a course already on the books dealing with that, or B, you could probably convince a professor to offer a special topics course on it.
You're good, because the next question is, what are the concentrations that you offer in math? And you covered it there.
Yep.
But I have another question too, is how, because you kind of touched on this, how open are you to students creating their own research projects, and how helpful are professors in helping facilitate this?
I think one of the great parts about our department is that we're looking to work with students, and we love working with students. And so when a student has come to me and wanted to work on a project, I've never said no. I mean, I haven't gotten overrun with them yet, but it's one of the parts that I really like about my job is that I can work on these special projects that are something new and interesting with students that maybe I wouldn't be able to do at a bigger school that's really research oriented, because Rose really focuses on that individual attention and support. I know a lot of other faculty in our department feel the same about those types of projects and working with students as well.
And furthermore, as part of a mathematics major, you have to do a senior capstone, typically a senior thesis or a senior project experience for your full 3 terms as a senior. And so there not only are opportunities there to work with a faculty member, but we offer summer research programs where students often are able to receive funding through the school. We've had a number of faculty and student pairs that have had that happen. We offer a course specifically designed for students who want to do a research project with a faculty member during the academic year outside of their senior thesis, so they can actually earn credits while doing some quality research.
Great. Eric wants to know, what happens if a student comes with lots of dual enrollment math credits, such as multivariable calculus, differential equations, linear algebra, graph theory, etc.?
So dual credit is a tricky one, I'll be honest. We, especially for the calculus courses, we've really shied away from accepting credit for those courses. What we're looking for in those situations are students to have a real college experience with the course. In a normal time, that would mean taking the course on a college campus with other college students. And so if you have that opportunity, I highly recommend that you utilize that as opposed to taking the course within your high school. In these times, clearly that would mean more online courses offered through a university or a college that you may want to look into. In terms of the upper level courses, it really will depend upon where the course is taught, how it's taught, and the topics that are covered. We will grant credit for these courses, but they may not go directly towards a specific mathematics course. But we will give you the opportunity to convince us that you know the material.
What high school courses would you recommend I take if I would like to do a major in data science?
I'd start with calculus. Every major at Rose requires calculus, and so if you can get calculus under your belt before you come to Rose, that's a good start. I would always advocate statistics, but something that's a little bit different is we don't accept AP statistics credit for our statistics class. If you take AP statistics and you pass, you do get mathematics credit, but you still do need to come and take statistics again at Rose, because we offer a specialized version of that class that's for students that are in engineering and in science at Rose, compared to AP, which is very broad. If you have a chance to take programming classes in high school, I also highly encourage doing that. You can take, I believe we give credit for computer science classes as well.
Next question, Nathan would like to know, what are your typical class sizes, and how much do students connect with the professors?
So if you're looking at the sort of core courses, our calculus, our differential equations courses that all students pretty much have to take, our statistics classes, we try and keep those in the 20 to 24 students per section. Try and keep them really small so that you get that one-on-one interaction with a faculty member that you deserve when you come to Rose-Hulman. For our upper level classes, that can range anywhere from classes of 2 or 3 to 24, 25, with the average probably somewhere in the middle teens. So you really get a quality experience when you get here. The question was related to interacting with faculty members. One of the strengths of Rose-Hulman, regardless of your major, but especially I believe with the mathematics majors, the faculty really get to know their students. With classes that are that size, we recognize them in the hall, we chat with them, we understand their interests, and we really try and encourage directly and engage with them outside of the classroom, both in the hallway or perhaps when we're seeing each other in the union or in the rec center playing intramurals, whatever it is. We all believe that that quality interaction between faculty and student greatly enhances the learning experience for all.
All right, I got another question here. Can you tell me a little bit more about biomathematics?
Sure. So when I'll admit, it's not my field of expertise, but what I tell students all the time is that biology is the last of the hard science to realize that their fundamental problems are mathematical in nature. You know that physics learned this a long time ago, chemistry a little while after that, but biology realized only probably within the last 30 to 50 years that their fundamental problems are mathematical. So biomathematics really takes a look at how these two programs, this biology and the mathematics aspect of it, tie together to solve the problems of the biological and the life sciences. This could be things like you've seen the decoding of DNA. How do protein folds work and what do they tell us? How are pandemics or viruses spreading? You know, all of the things that you've been seeing for the past 6 months, all these models are mathematical models that biomathematicians study and really figure out how they are working. I know that, one of our biomathematicians here, had a really nice description for me early in this pandemic of exactly how things are going, what to look for in the models, so that I could really understand what they're trying to tell us.
Great. Rajiv would like, if you could give some examples of internships, maybe co-ops that students in the mathematics department would do.
So I'll be honest, in terms of internships and co-ops, math students really aren't often utilizing those aspects. We've had some people do these for actuarial programs. I believe I've seen some at, say, Raytheon or Eli Lilly working as analysts. But probably the closest thing for a math major are summer research experiences, both here at Rose or probably more importantly at other schools. There's a national program called an REU, Research Experience for Undergraduates, where these schools will provide a stipend for undergraduate students to come in and do research with them. And they bring in a bunch of students from across the country. Our students have always been very competitive with this, and we generally have students who go through not one, but maybe two or even three of them through their academic career.
Another question, can you tell me more about AP credit for AB and BC calculus?
Sure. So if you were to take the AB test and you earn a 4 or a 5, you will earn credit for MA 111, which is our Calc 1 course. If you take the BC exam and earn a 4 or 5 on the AB portion, you get credit for Calc 1. You get a 4 or 5 on the BC portion, you get credit for Calc 2. And so in those cases, you would start in our multivariable course, Calc 3, MA 113. Historically, we have probably over 50% of our students earning at least some credit in calculus via the AP exams.
Megan, this is specific to you. You said you're a Rose-Hulman graduate and studied mathematics. What would you say was your favorite thing taken from your experience here?
Oh, that's a hard question.
My course.
Yeah, I had Dr. Rader for a class more than one time when I was a student here. If I think specific to math, it was really just finding my passion, because I was one of those students that came here and I knew I liked science. I could study. I was able to kind of make it through my classes, but finding the area that I'm really excited about, which is statistics, is really like the big thing that happened to me at Rose in the math department. Taking Dr. Rader's statistics class as my first stat course, I was a optical engineering major at that time. I changed majors and took the statistics track. And so, yeah, that'd be, I guess, my big one.
All right, I have another question here. It's from Tanner. He wants to know if there are study abroad opportunities with a math major, how that would work.
Yeah, so there are actually programs. The Budapest semester program, for example, is one where you can go to Hungary to study. Specifically, it's a nationwide, actually an international program, excuse me, that students can go to as one. Are there specific, mathematics is universal. I tell my colleagues this all the time. You know, almost every school has a mathematics program. And so if you wanted to study abroad, you can pretty readily find mathematics courses that will transfer over to our program. And a lot of times will actually satisfy some of the requirements you need for whatever concentration you're interested in. We've had a couple majors do that. I know down in, I believe, Chile a few years ago, as well as in Sweden, if I recall correctly. So yeah, definitely an option.
Okay, and Lucas wants to know if you could comment a little bit about any math competition teams. You have extracurricular opportunities to
Yeah, so we have a lot of these. I'm not an expert in every single one, so Dave can fill in whatever I miss, because I'm a little bit newer to the department than he is if I was his student. But we do a freshman competition called the Alfred Schmidt. So freshmen come in the fall and they take a math test, and they essentially get to kind of compete and see how well they can do on it. We also participate in the Virginia Tech math competition each fall, and the Putnam competition, which is the big math competition that's nationwide. Did I miss any?
Yep. So with the Putnam, just so that you're aware, the last few years we've had at least one student score in the top 500 nationwide, which is a really big deal because if you often look at the top 20 students are almost always from Harvard or MIT. So to get in the top 500 is a big deal. We've had last year, I think our team finished, if I recall correctly, 40th nationwide. Which again, for a small school, is an outstanding achievement for us. We beat that other school out in California that we're often compared to. So, we've made sure to let them know about it this year. In addition, there is a differential equations modeling competition that's just started up within the last few years that we've been actively participating in. We actually hosted one of the satellite competitions a couple years ago. We are involved in the COMAP modeling, math competition on modeling, which is a weekend competition. You get one problem on a Thursday evening. You have to basically write a paper by Monday morning on your solution. Indiana also Indiana also hosts as a state a competition across all the colleges. It's a weekend competition, and we've done often very well, winning probably at least a third to a half of those competitions throughout the years. So yeah, there are a lot of different options.
All right, we're getting to the end of our time here, so I have one last question.
Okay.
Grant says that it seems like there's a fair number of students that choose math and have a double major.
Mm-hmm.
But about how many students typically choose to major only in math?
So typically, at any given time, probably right now, I would say we have probably about 30 to 40 students whose primary major is mathematics. We attract an additional number of students throughout the 4 years. As both double majors, we get students who realize that, much like Megan had, engineering wasn't for them, but they wanted to stay at Rose, and they said mathematics is where I really belong. One of our recent graduates, who's honored as the top graduate of the class a year and a half ago, did that exact pattern. He started as a mechanical engineering student, realized he's really a mathematician at heart, and is now at the University of Minnesota working on his PhD. So are we a large department in terms of number of majors, primary majors? No, we're not one of the engineering disciplines. But we have a robust student population with primary, secondary majors, as well as a large number of students who choose to minor in one of the various minors we have in the department. So if you're wondering, am I going to have people around me, except for the maybe one or two other math students? The answer is yeah, you're going to have a whole host of students that you're going to see often in your various classes, and have a good cohort on which to study with.
It's a great way to wrap things up. We're at the end of our time, but if students have additional questions and would like to reach out to either of you, would you like to tell them the best way to make contact?
Yeah, so email is fine for me. It's my last name, Heyman at rose-hulman.edu. You can also find me on the faculty page for mathematics if you're kind of looking through our department.
And same for me, email is great. My last name, Rader, R-A-D-E-R, at rose-hulman.edu. I'm also easily found on the departmental webpage. Unfortunately, they've chosen me as the picture to put up to showcase the faculty. I'm surprised we haven't lost students that way, but you can easily find me. So.
Well, thank you both so much for your time this evening, and thank you for tuning in tonight. And we will look forward to hosting 2 other departments next Tuesday night. So if you're interested in signing up for those, please do so. And thank you once again for joining us.